Hello, welcome everyone. We appreciate you joining us today for this important discussion on obesity in the workplace and why employers need to take action to reverse this trend. My name is Eric Galabitsky. I'm co-founder of Zero Doubt Club, and with me is Amer Ahmad, our VP of Strategy and Operations and a certified health coach, a very good one. Together, we're going to walk you through the data, the impact of obesity on the workforce, and most importantly, what we can do about it. Can is the magic word. We will send this deck and video to everyone who's registered. If you haven't registered but want a copy, just shoot us an email, eg@zerodoubtclub.com, or Amer is at amer@zerodoubtclub.com. Please reach out. Happy to send it to you and start a conversation going. Welcome, Amer.
Hey, Eric. What's up? I'm excited to be here today because this is an issue, obesity, that affects every business, whether they've identified it or not. Obesity isn't just a personal, individual health challenge, it's an economic and productivity crisis. Today, we're going to break down the facts, look at what's working and what's failing in corporate wellness, and then share a framework that actually drives real, sustainable results.
So before we dive into the data and solutions, I just want to take a quick moment and introduce Zero Doubt Club and the work that we do. At Zero Doubt Club, we believe that true wellness is about more than just a diet or exercising. It's about creating a sustainable lifestyle change that prioritizes and integrates mindset, nutrition, movement with discipline and accountability.
Our services at Zero Doubt Club include healthy, gourmet prepared meals and catering, boutique gyms with personalized coaching, corporate wellness programs, and a structured GLP-1 coaching program for those using medications like Ozempic or Wegovy. But what really sets us apart is that we act as an outsourced health and wellness team, not just for individuals, but for entire companies and HR departments. We provide businesses with a structured approach to employee wellness that actually works.
So we operate across multiple Northeast Ohio locations, two on the east side, one in Mayfield Heights and one at Inside Eaton Mall on Chagrin Boulevard. Also a location in downtown Cleveland at the 9, as well as centrally located in Independence. So we bring the same level of commitment to all of our clients, helping them build healthier habits for life. So let's talk about why all of this matters and what employees need to know about the growing obesity epidemic. Okay, so let's start with the big picture. Obesity rates have doubled. Yes, doubled since 1990. So just in 35 short years, obesity has doubled. That's such a big number. And it's continuing to rise. It's rising year over year. This is creating major challenges for employers, impacting health insurance costs, productivity, absenteeism, and even employee morale. And that list, unfortunately, goes on.
And this isn't, as I mentioned before, just a problem for individuals or people. This is a systemic issue that directly affects companies' bottom lines. Studies show that businesses with a higher percentage of obese employees face significantly higher healthcare costs, more frequent disability claims, and increased turnover. If we don't address this problem now, it'll only continue to grow.
Yeah, and the road to this obesity epidemic has been ugly, and the road to fixing this solution will not be a straight one either. So we can't just throw our hands up in the air and say, you know what, it is what it is. We need to absolutely figure this out. So the most concerning trend that we're seeing is how fast obesity is crisis. It's hitting employee 30s. This means employers are going to face long-term health complications in their workforce.
And more employees with obesity-related illnesses, whether they're young or old, mean higher insurance costs, more time off work, and increased difficulty in recruiting and retaining talent. Companies that don't take action now will see these problems compound over time.
Just got to chat. So right now, 40% of US adults are classified as obese. But if we look ahead to 2030, just 5 years from now, that number is expected to rise to 50%. What's really alarming is that severe obesity, the type that leads to chronic disease and disability, will affect nearly 1 in 4 adults, or half of the adults. So 50% will of employees will be obese. Half of them will be severely obese. If these projections hold, healthcare costs for businesses will rise even more out of control.
So the real question employers need to ask themselves is, are we going to wait for this crisis to hit us harder? Or are we going to take some proactive steps now to help mitigate this problem in the future? The businesses that invest in employee health today will definitely have a competitive advantage in the long run, because there's going to be other companies that don't address this crisis until it turns into a full out problem.
Exactly. Okay, sorry about that. We're getting chats and people asking questions. That's good.
Right.
So as one medical expert put it, obesity is the apex predator of human health. It doesn't just lead to weight gain. It alters our physiology, damages our joints, triggers biochemical changes that increase the risk of diabetes, chronic pain, and even high-risk pregnancies.
And these aren't just health risks that happen somewhere else to somebody else. These types of health risks and problems affect people's ability to show up and perform their jobs effectively on a day-to-day basis. Obesity contributes to fatigue, higher stress levels, and an overall decline in workforce engagement. If we're serious about improving employee well-being, we need to address this issue head on.
So the numbers don't lie. Employers spend $1.4 trillion per year in lost productivity due to obesity-related conditions. Employees with obesity incur 2.3 times higher healthcare costs, take twice as many sick days, require more expensive prescription medications. So there's some bad news, good news. The bad news is that these numbers are really ugly and not sustainable. You got to do something about it. The good news is that all of these numbers, the overwhelming majority of these numbers, is preventable with lifestyle changes.
And when you add this all up, all these numbers, obesity is extremely damaging. It increases healthcare spending by the same amount as aging an employee by 27 years. That's adding 27 years to an average employee's age because they're obese. That's an incredible financial burden. But here's the good news. As Eric said, there's good news and bad news. Here's the good news. This is a solvable problem. Employees who invest in proactive health solutions right now can see significant reductions in costs and improvements in employee performance.
So obesity doesn't just increase the risk for heart disease or diabetes, as we all know. It also leads to chronic pain, autoimmune disorders, and even higher rates of anxiety and depression.
And these, as you know, these issues, these diseases and chronic conditions, they show up in the workplace every single day. Employees struggling with obesity, they report higher stress levels, lower energy, and decreased job satisfaction. And if companies want to create healthier, more engaged workforce and employees, addressing these health risks needs to be a top priority.
Okay, so the problem doesn't just impact employees. Unfortunately, it affects their families as well. So, children of parents with obesity are 2 to 3 times more likely to develop obesity themselves, along with higher rates of asthma, diabetes, anxiety, and again, that list goes on.
And for employers, the fact that it affects families, not just an individual, it means just higher healthcare costs, more frequent doctor visits, and a workforce that's dealing with the stress of managing chronic conditions in themselves and at home. Addressing obesity isn't just a workplace issue, it's become a family issue. And companies that invest in employee health will see benefits far beyond the office.
Right. So sleep is a big deal. It's one of the hidden consequences of obesity is sleep apnea. Employees with obesity are far more likely to suffer from chronic sleep deprivation, which leads to lower productivity, increased errors, and more frequent sick days.
And we all know this, that a lack of sleep affects cognitive function, it affects our decision making, and overall energy levels. For companies that maybe have manufacturing or deal with expensive or delicate equipment, there's even a safety issue when it comes to fatigue. But many companies just don't realize how much fatigue is impacting their employees. By helping employees improve their health, businesses can actually increase productivity, increase their safety compliance, and better their workplace efficiency.
So many corporate wellness programs look good on paper, but they don't create lasting health and well-being changes. Gym reimbursements, step challenges, annual doctor visits, sending them information on how to better sleep, or how to lose weight, or sending them recipes, or whatever it may be, uh, it just isn't enough. It leads to, at best, yo-yo diets and yo-yo exercise routines. But at worst, they don't do much. They look at the information and disregard it.
And that's because these traditional corporate wellness programs, they just don't address the root cause of unhealthy behaviors. Without accountability, without education, and without a structured support system, most employees will fall back into old habits. Real change requires a totally different approach.
So, sustainable weight loss isn't about crash diets. It's about building a foundation of mindset, nutrition, and exercise.
At Zero Doubt Club, we talk about focusing on whole foods, strength training to preserve muscle mass, and long term habit change. The more employees invest in their health, it actually becomes easier to stay motivated and see lasting results.
Exactly, because they build momentum. And when they start seeing change because they've connected mind, body, and soul dots, that starts the momentum. Then they get the bug. So what I quickly want to add too is how we coach employees on being consistently good way outweighs trying to be occasionally perfect. What kills workout routines is trying to be perfect. What kills diets is trying to be perfect. For example, the no carb or low carb, one piece of cake over the weekend, they feel like they've ruined the diet, they don't come back,
And then they just quit.
etc. And then they just quit. So
Yeah.
what we teach and coach is the consistently good. Can we help you go from eating 3 or 4 bad, full of preservatives, probably with seed oils and GMO or processed foods? Can we coach you from eating 3 or 4 out of 4 bad meals like that or dirty meals into clean eating? And can you commit to us that you'll eat 3 out of 4 clean meals moving forward or during our health challenge or during our coaching challenge? The employees that voluntarily participate will commit to that and start watching what they eat. And again, that's when the big differences happen in their lives.
Absolutely.
Okay, GLPs. So it's such a big topic. Medications like Ozempic and Wegovy can be powerful tools, but they aren't a standalone solution. Odds are high that if employees are on this medication, they didn't get exercise or nutrition right in the past. When people take these medications without proper guidance, they often feel horrible. They feel nauseous. They miss work days. The number in studies show that they go to the emergency room visit 2 times as often, and the weight that they lose, 40 to 50% of that weight is muscle mass. And what we've seen is that they stay on the medication way too long.
Exactly. That's why it's critical to pair this medication with strength training, nutrition coaching, and a long-term plan so that your employees can be the best versions of themselves and can wean off of these complicated medications.
Exactly. So Zero Doubt Club takes a holistic approach. We combine coaching, strength training, nutrition, and mindset work to create this lasting change. It can't just be about a workout. It cannot be just about a diet. It just will not sustain. When we help our clients and hopefully your employees connect these mind, body, and soul dots, that's when the real magic happens.
Our process at Zero Doubt Club is simple, but really effective. We start with an assessment, then training. We talk about nutrition. We help with mindset. And we do it all with a very strong level of accountability. When employees have real support, they succeed. There's just a quick example here. When we do an initial coaching session, we spend a fair amount of time getting to know what's going on in the client's life. I recently had an initial coaching call with a woman who set a smart goal for herself to lose over 25 pounds during the 6-week challenge that we're running at our company, which is a local law firm. 25 pounds seemed like a lot to me. And so we talked about what was driving that goal and talked about what a more healthy, achievable, and realistic and appropriate goal might be over a 6-week period. The end result was a 5 to 10 pound goal through tracking of her nutrition, increasing her activity, and working with me as her coach to stay accountable. I can proudly say that it's almost 3 weeks into the challenge, and she's already at 3 pounds lost.
That's awesome. I gotta say, man, you're so good at those coaching calls. At the end, you have them all like laughing and excited about it, and just that feeling of this is doable, and I'm going to do it, and I'm not going to let myself down. I'm not going to let Amir down. Like, you create that rapport like in 15, 20 minutes. It's awesome.
Thank you. That's nice. Being a health coach is super fun because you can connect with people in a very sort of intimate and deep way. You get to know them, and you sort of you start rooting for them. You want them to succeed. So it's fun.
Of course. That's great. So this is a small tease for the next webinar. We're going to do it second week of April. So in 3-4 weeks on return on investment and value on investment. It's not just about the dollar and cents, obviously, but we've talked a lot about the impact of obesity on health and workplace productivity. But getting into the numbers are just as ugly. But again, it's preventable, and every dollar invested nets $6 out. Companies that invest in structured wellness programs see a 27% reduction in absenteeism. That's a big number. That means fewer sick days, fewer doctor visits, and employees who are actually present and engaged in their work.
And another factor is, especially in a tight labor market like today, turnover. Companies that prioritize holistic wellness see 15% lower employee turnover. That's because people feel valued when their company invests in their well-being. And as Eric mentioned, the financial return, There's many studies, and it's credible. For every dollar invested, as he said, in employee health, companies see an average return of $6 in healthcare savings.
So again, next webinar is going to be super informative. A lot of data that we've researched and put together. So it's a don't miss as well. So this is what makes workplace wellness not just a health decision, but a business decision. Companies that implement the right strategies don't just have healthier employees. They have stronger teams, higher retention, lower costs, and attraction's a big deal, other healthy, happy employees. And this is where we come in. Let's talk about how Zero Doubt Club can help make this a reality and help grow your amazing, strong work culture as it is. Okay. So the time to act is now. It's not next quarter. It's not next January. The numbers are already ugly, and they're getting worse. The time to act is now. The obesity epidemic is only getting worse, and companies that invest in employee health now will see the greatest returns.
We're offering a 90-day pilot program that delivers measurable and sustainable results. If your company is serious about making a change, we're ready to help you here at Zero Doubt Club.
For sure. So we've covered a lot today, and quickly, we will send everyone that registered the deck. Please reach out to us if we can answer any other questions. Go ahead.
Sure. Most traditional, as we talked about, most traditional wellness programs just don't work. Gym reimbursements, step challenges, they are not creating lasting behavior change, and your healthcare costs keep going up. The real solution is one that we've talked about, and it requires a structured, holistic approach with coaching, strength training, nutritional guidance, and accountability.
Great. So thank you, everyone, for joining us today. If you have any questions, please reach out. Amir.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thanks, Eric. And our email addresses and phone numbers are on the deck. And please reach out, and we'll be happy to work with you guys. Have a good one.
Sounds good. Thank you. Take care.